Finally, I'm going to start the small project that initiated this whole season of Gothmas. I'm going to turn this very lovely witch's hat into a dark Ms Claus hat. Hello, it's Icy. Yes, I have actually made it to the project that started Gothmas in my head. So the plan is to make this very lovely witch's hat, which I adore, into a dark Ms Claus hat. How am I going to do this? I'm going to put a pom-pom on it, and I'm going to put a fur band around the crown, not the brim. This bit's the brim, this bit's the crown. So it's not going to be complicated. So, however, this is my only two-part project, I guess, in here. The rest are all kind of make one thing, are they? Almost. So, so there are two parts. So the first part is to make a pom-pom. So the idea is you get, this is how I make pom-poms anyway. Other people might do it differently, but this works super reliably for me, and I would recommend if you need to make some pom-poms, this is how you do it. So 2 circles, identical circles of thin cardboard. Once again, conveniently cut from the Christmas cake box. It was a terrible Christmas cake. It really wasn't very good. The final size, the outer circle is about the size of your final pom-pom, roughly. How big you make the inner circle will determine how dense your pom-pom is. If it's a very small inner circle, you won't be able to have that many strands to your pom-pom, and it will end up looking quite fluffy. It won't have many strands. It will be kind of a shaggy pom-pom. If you have a lot of room in here, your pom-pom will be very dense. And to be honest, probably more likely to disassemble itself as well, because you won't be able to get enough tightness in the string around the center hole, like around the bunch of strings. There are other ways to do this. I find this way gives you a beautiful round pom-pom, and it looks perfectly circular almost when it comes out. You need very little trimming, and they look adorable usually. Here's hoping. This should make quite a dense pom-pom, I think, from the size of the hole I've got for the center. So we'll see. You will need, the bigger the hole in the middle, the more wool you'll need. I have a ball of white cream, off-white, antique white. Anyway, fairly white wool I already owned. It's 8-ply. So what I'm going to do is basically take double strands and then just shove them continually round and round through the hole until I get to the end of the strand. I'm going to make the strands, like a good meter, is a meter and a half long, and just keep doing that until it's full. So let's see that happen. And through the magic of modern YouTubing, I have a completed one. I cheated this project. I did pre-work. Is it cheating? Not really. I still did it. I just did it beforehand. That's okay. All right. So as you can see, we've got a really thick, T-H-I-C-C, thick wad of wool here. Now, this bit's tricky. This bit. So what you need to do is literally just pinch it really firmly, and then you need to chop all the way around. Before you start this section, get yourself a strand of wool because you will need to tie around the center. So have that ready to go. And then, sorry, too many things here. All right, you need some small sharp scissors. So the idea here is you're going to keep pinching the middle. If you don't keep pinching the middle during this process, the whole thing is going to go very badly. Let's do this. Maybe try the big. Might try the big scissors. They are good, those ones. But so the idea of using, yeah, that's better. The idea, you see that coming apart now, of using the double piece of cardboard is it adds strength. But the idea would be is at a certain point is you want to try and get your scissors in between the two pieces of cardboard as you're chopping around. I don't think I'll need to actually. I seem to be able to. For this one, it's more important for the, I guess where you've got a small hole in the center. This one has got enough, it's got enough fur, volume, density that I'm not having to. It's strong enough I can just slide the scissors up beside the actual, beside the wall. Okay, here we go. So you can see it starting to come. So the idea, keep pinching in the middle. If you let that go, the whole thing can disintegrate into a million small strands of wool. So a couple of things as I was doing it. I don't know why I didn't think of this at the time, but if I had just like pulled 4 strands through rather than 2 at a time, this whole thing would have been so much faster. It did actually take me quite a long time to go through and go round all of the, like to get this much wool on here. It probably took me, I don't know, an hour or 2. It's not a fast process to do it this way, but you get a great end result. Okay, so there's my ball of fuzz. Let me just go around, and I just want to make sure that I have in fact sliced all the bits. I've done quite well. There's a few there. Now, I would be very, very careful at this stage. It's probably not worthwhile at this stage to try and trim any long bits. I've got a couple because that's where I've joined the few bits together. This is the other point in time where the double cardboard circle is really important, because it makes it a hell of a lot easier to actually get your string around the center. The other important thing about doing it is to fill that center circle up a lot, because as you can see, I can leave this alone at this point without the whole thing falling apart. So gently separate your 2 circles, and then just lay your string in between the 2 bits of cardboard and then pull them around. So this, oh, yeah. Missed another one. Okay, right, there we go. So this way you can be sure that you get every single piece of little string caught in the knot. So, now, so we just at this point need to tie it. I would also suggest that you give yourself a lot of string. You can always chop it shorter later. Very hard to add extra string. So we're just gonna get that through. Gonna untie that string. And then we're gonna do it again. Maybe don't pull too hard. Or, and this is probably what would be a good idea to do, is to actually like plait the string beforehand and then use that, because then you'd have a triple strand, it would be stronger. Am I gonna do that? No, because I want to finish this part of the video, and at any point in the next 2 minutes, I'm expecting a knock at the door, and the door is just over there. Okay, so I've got a single knot, so I'm going to spin it around and then just tie it on the other side. Back through the center. And I'm just going to keep doing this for like, I don't know, 6 or 7 times. Making sure that I leave enough at the end so that I have a string I can attach to the hat. All right, that'll probably do. As you can see, it's just sort of shrunk a little bit, and that's because I had still a little bit of a hole in the center of the pom-pom, like a little bit of a gap where there was no wool. So that's to be expected. If that's a worry for you, just fill that center gap all the way, which you can do with you probably will need a needle to do that, but you can use, like, for example, maybe a tapestry needle, which has a super large eye. They're really large and no sharp point, or a knitter's needle, so not a knitting needle, but the kind of needle that's used with wool that people use to sew like sections of jumpers together. That also would do. Alrighty, so we have a pom-pom. It's still looking a little rough at this point. After clearing away all of the stuff, this point I would give it a haircut. Before you take the cardboard out, this is a perfect time to give this thing a bit of a haircut. Just even it off. The other thing you can see, it's slightly uneven. So the bottom section here is slightly smaller than the top. That's just because of where the scissors went through when I was trimming it. So this would be a good time to even that up if that was a concern before you take the cardboard out. It just makes it easier to hold, and it also gives you a reference point if you do this before you take the cardboard. And then the next step after the haircut is to simply rip out the cardboard. And then you have an adorable, extraordinarily fuzzy pom-pom. You don't obviously have to make just white ones. You can make striped ones, multicolored. You can make, you know, all sorts of stuff. Variegated colors would look good as well. The other thing I would say is the thicker the material that you use for the thicker the wool, sorry, the less times you have to, the less times you have to wrap it around. So okay, because I'm in a rush, we're going to leave it there. Now you can just not tear the cardboard out. You can cut the cardboard out. Just be careful not to cut your wool. Okay, give it a bit of a, there we go. So that way I can break it out. So then we just gently pull that out. And the other one, give it a zhuzh, and then find the extra bits to be trimmed, and then an adorable pom-pom that should work perfectly on my hat. So that's the pom-pom finished. So the second part of this mini project is to actually make a fuzzy band to go around the top of the hat. I'm not using fur, obviously. I'm using fake fur. In fact, I'm using a bit of Christmas tree skirt. Fake fur is quite expensive to buy in Australia. It was like extremely expensive to get any. And I found just at a local department store, yeah, this tree skirt for like $12. Now, I think the plan is, yeah, all I'm going to do is measure around here, which I haven't done yet. Let's do that now, shall we? Uh, 60 centimeters, 60 and a half centimeters. I have a big head, apparently. Is that right? Yep, 60 centimeters. Okay. I have a massive skull. So what I'll do is just, I'm going to take a slice out of the edge here, off the end. That looks like it's about 30 centimeters. So I'll take one off this side, one off the other side of the circular tree skirt. That way I can use it as a tree skirt as well later. Thinking ahead. Just sew them together as a band, trim off the edges of the fur, and then just, I don't know, wing it. It's not going to be a perfectly vertical band because obviously the hat, it's got some amount of kind of slope at this point. Not a lot, honestly. Not a lot. So I'm just going to wing it. So probably about, the band will be about, I don't know, 4 or 5 centimeters. Here, I think, will be sufficient. We'll see how it goes. Hello, I return with a converted Gothmas hat. I'm pretty pleased, actually. It worked really nicely. The longest amount of time was just my rather adorable, actually quite substantial pom-pom. So I've just sewn this into here really quickly. When I am done with Gothmas, I will just... I've made a mistake. I chopped the string off. I should have left it long. That way I could have just easily sewn this on again next time. It'll be okay. I'll be able to do something about that. But I did make a mistake. I have a band for my hat. The band could be slightly better fitted, to be honest. It's fine around the bottom section. It is a little gapey around the top. I could have definitely kind of angled the seams on either side in a little more to get that to sit a little closer around the top. But I think it's okay. I think it's fine. So, hi. We see it? I'm pretty, it's hard to show it off. It's hard to show it off. I'm actually quite pleased with the whole thing. The pom-pom is actually heaps of fun. It jingles and dangles very appealingly. I think as a dark Mrs. Claus hat, I think it works. I'm pretty happy. So this is the hat that spawned this entire project, the entire long 12 Days of Gothmas project. So there's still more. Do keep an eye on the playlist for the final episode. Not sure where this one slots in actually in the sequence, but there will be at least a final episode that I am going to pull many of the projects I've done all together for one final project, which is the plan. So thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I've been having so much fun doing all of these projects. I really have. So I do appreciate you hanging out with me while I do them and watching these videos. Elder Scrolls content is always on this channel. There will always be Elder Scrolls content, but I am having, a delightful time doing these IRL projects and doing like little themed things. So I will be doing this at least a few times a year, I would think. So, but yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you haven't, please do follow me here. Do check out the other videos in the playlist. That would be appreciated. Enjoy Gothmas. If you are celebrating or doing anything crafty, for any reason, Gothmas or otherwise, I would like to see. Please share them with me. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.